All right, folks, today we've got a good one. We're going to go over trailer brakes. Hub and drums to be specific, replacing brakes, adjusting, figuring out when your brakes are bad, all the good stuff. Now, I know what you're thinking. Brakes sound complicated, but they're not. If you've never done it before, sure, it's a new thing to do, but it's something almost everyone with a trailer will end up doing sooner or later. And honestly, you'll look like a hero to your neighbors when you do. Pretty much all campers and trailers under 16,000 pounds use one of two brake sizes. You've got your 10 by 2.25, and that's what we refer to as a 10-inch brake, and you've got 12 by 2-inch, and that's a 12-inch brake. The 10-inch goes on the 3,500-pound axle. The 12-inch, that's for your 52, 6, and 7,000-pound axles. That's pretty much it. You got two main sizes. If you've got those two, you can work on basically 99% of campers out there or trailers under 16,000 pounds. So you've got a couple ways to identify what axle you're dealing with. One is bearing numbers, the little stamp numbers on the bearings themselves, but be warned, after a couple years, those numbers get really hard to read. Plus, you have to disassemble your entire hub to get to those numbers, so who really wants to do that? The way I recommend is first look for the axle tag. It's either a little metal tag strapped around the axle, or if it's a newer axle, you'll have a sticker. It's usually hiding on the trailer. It's only on one side. So crawl under your trailer, snap a picture of that, send it in to us, and we can tell you exactly what bearings and brakes your trailer needs. If that tag or sticker is gone, which does happen, the next easiest way is to pull off one wheel and look for a cast part number on the hub itself. Using that part number, you can find out what brakes and bearings you have 99% of the time. If all the numbers are gone, the tag's missing, and you just can't find that stamped in part number, now you're going to need calipers and you're going to need to measure your spindle. While doing that does seem a little tedious, it is a lot easier than taking apart a hub and trying to find bearing numbers that may or may not be there anyway. There are only a couple of common spindle sizes used on these size of trailers anyway, so odds are you'll find the one you have pretty quickly. Electric brakes are basically electromagnets. Your brake controller sends actual power back to the brakes. The more power it sends, the harder the brake grabs, the better you stop. So when things go wrong, it's usually the magnet, this little guy here. It wears down until the wires show. When that happens, it shorts out. Now you could replace just the magnet, and if it simply failed without wear, it just went bad, that's fine. But if it's worn through, don't just swap out your magnet and call it good. You're going to want to replace the whole assembly because everything else is equally as worn. If you've ever done drum brakes on a car, you know it's a nightmare. Springs, clips, parts flying across your garage. On trailers, it's way easier. The backing plate is removable, so you can replace the entire assembly at once. You just take your old one off, slap on a new one, rewire it, and you're good to go. You'll hear from some old school folks who insist on replacing individual parts. Let them. You'll be finished while they're still trying to figure out where the tiny spring went. Each brake only has two wires. One's power and one's ground, and that's it. There's no color coding, no polarity, no magic order. You just connect one wire to power and one wire to ground. You literally cannot screw it up. If you do see a third set of wires, that's just a jumper wire running from one side to the brake magnet on the other side. When connecting wires, ditch the wire nuts and quick splices. They don't belong on a trailer, they belong in the trash. Use heat shrink butt connectors so you don't end up with corroded wiring that fails the first time it rains. When you reinstall your hub, remember this little castle nut does not get torqued down like a lug nut. You just snug it. If you over tighten it, you'll squeeze your bearings together and they'll bind up. What I like to do is use a pair of pliers or a big crescent wrench and seat the bearings. Tighten it all the way down, loosen it back up, and then tighten your castle nut by hand. That's as tight as you need it. So if you see this little rubber plug on the back of the brake, you pop it out, and behind that is your adjuster wheel. You don't need a fancy brake spoon, but if you have one, that works fine. I just use a flathead screwdriver. You're going to want to turn it until the brake barely drags when you spin the hub. You want a little scraping noise, but you shouldn't feel any binding. But keep in mind, this is only on manual adjust brakes. If you buy self-adjusting brakes, you don't need to do this. Now that your trailer's back together, this is the most important part. You need to burnish or break in your brakes. Think of it like breaking in a new pair of boots, stiff at first, but once you wear them in, they get a lot smoother. What you'll want to do is hook up your trailer to your truck or car, hit the road, get up to 40 to 50 miles an hour, and use the manual override on your brake controller, not the brakes of your vehicle, and use that to slow your vehicle down to about 20 miles an hour. You're going to want to do that between 30 and 40 times for self-adjusting brakes, and you're going to want to do it 10 to 15 times for manual adjust. When you're done with this, you should smell burning brakes. If you don't smell brakes that are really hot, you did not do it right. Your brakes need to get somewhere between 400 and 450 degrees. And as you're doing this, when you hit the manual override, you will start feeling your brakes actually grabbing and doing something. If you did happen to buy a brand new trailer from the lot, the delivery driver is supposed to do this for you. It does not always get done. So once you pick up that camper, you're going to want to do this on your first drive home. So that's it. Once you've done it a few times, you can typically replace brakes and hubs on a trailer in about an hour on a tandem axle trailer. That's 15 minutes per assembly. If you have never done this before, I'd leave about an hour per side, grab a cold drink, take your time. There's no need to be in a hurry. At the end of the day, it's about knowing your axle, using the right size brakes for your trailer, wiring them correctly, and making sure to break them in or burnish them. Do that and your trailer will stop like a champ. And hey, if you smell burning the wrong kind of way, maybe go ahead and double check your work.